Hi, my name's Anna Girvan and I am the director of The Invisible Man. So The Invisible Man is an adaptation of a book by H.G. Wells, which is a science fiction novel from the turn of the century, and we have brought it into a modern context and changed things up a little bit. So our story is about a young boy called Griffin who claims he has the power for invisibility, which has got into quite a lot of trouble, and he is being assessed to see if this is true or not. Most people not believing him, and I suppose the mystery is like, can he, can't he, and if he does, what would he do with that power? So the reason we wanted to adapt The Invisible Man was because it was something that was a known story, a sci-fi story. We thought we could bring something fresh and new to it, and we started discussing who is invisible, like who could this invisible man be, but who also is invisible in our society. And so Phil, the writer, and myself are quite interested in the political kind of drive that theatre can bring, and so we wanted to use this story as a vehicle to maybe tell the stories of those people that don't normally get that platform. The most enjoyable experience is being back in a rehearsal room, because it's been a long time since actually directed a play, like in not on Zoom or some sort of podcast. It's like it's a very, it feels like we've all just sort of come out of a strange hibernation, but everyone's just buzzing because we feel so lucky to have that opportunity again. It makes you appreciate what you had. I think sometimes it takes that that space to have away from something to make you remember like why you love it in the first place. So being around funny, creative, ambitious actors, sound designers, set designers, yeah, it's reignited that passion again. So I think probably the most kind of unique and exciting element to the play that maybe an audience wouldn't expect is our use of sound design. So we've been experimenting with creating live Foley sound, which is essentially a couple of the performers, well, all of them at some point, get involved in making the sounds that you hear, but you actually get to see how they're made. So you normally get that in radio and film, where actually what you think you're hearing is something totally different. And again, it was us experimenting and talking about like what else is invisible in our world, and sound is one of those things. So hopefully it all merges in a beautiful, complicit way and isn't distracting, but that's certainly something that's been fun in rehearsals, and hopefully something really exciting to watch. So it's really vital that people get to be part of their cultural buildings, and that they can actually express themselves through art from where they're from. I mean, there's that thing of you can only really tell the stories that you know yourself and have experienced yourself. I mean, I don't know if that's wholly true, but it certainly gives you an extra passion behind it and drive. And so the fact that all of our creative team are from the Northeast or based in the Northeast just feels like you've all got the same kind of groundwork or starting point to work from. I suppose it's about, there's a real drive towards people moving down south, moving to the capital to make work, and getting to have an opportunity to make work in the Northeast shows that there are those opportunities out there, and actually maybe people could benefit from staying in those regions, and it's kind of a two-way street. Those opportunities have got to be there to stay there, but equally you've got to be there and stay there to get involved in the first place. Another like exciting kind of challenging part of putting this play together is the fact that it will be getting toured around the Northeast in very different venues. So when we were designing the piece, it was thinking about how do we just pick that up and take it elsewhere, and actually all of the actors are involved in doing that, taking it around around all these venues in the Northeast. So we always wanted to be able to recreate the magic that we would have in that initial space, but everywhere we go. And so though that's challenging, it's also really exciting, because you feel like you're creating something that is like really specific to that theatre, and it's going to have all of the bells and whistles, but you're also thinking about how can we just have exactly the same experience elsewhere. So when it comes down to the magical elements of it, which I don't want to say too much about, like how can we make sure that they are as exciting here as they are like everywhere else, and hopefully that it's just, we'll realise it's one of these stories that feels relevant no matter where you go.